Hello and welcome to Iron Reaver, the second boss of Hellfire Citadel. From a healer's perspective, there are 0 changes from Heroic to Mythic, so let's jump right into some Discipline Priest analysis. You'll notice the very first thing I do here is to allow my penance stacks to fall off. It's not a great start, but a little spoiler alert, it only happens the one time throughout the whole fight. I ended up maintaining a 99.9% uptime on reparation, so that's pretty good. Once I get it back to 6 stacks here, you will never see it drop off, including when I channel potion for mana near the end of the fight. On this fight, your healing strategy is to stick to your basic rotation, but to have all of your power word shield fillers be targeted on players with debuffs. The whole fight is about dot debuffs, so your shields will be extra strong in healing the damage over time. It's important not to sacrifice your basic rotation of evangelism builders. You must hit your archangels on time for the shields to be worth it and to be powerful. 60% uptime is the maximum archangel uptime, and I ended up hitting 55% on this pull. Anywhere above 50% is acceptable, but the closer to 60 the better. I ended up talking a lot here about the macro healing style of Disc because this fight is not very difficult to heal if your basic gameplay is correct. It's not very micro intensive at all. All you're doing is chasing around the debuffs with Power Word Shield, cycling your Archangel on time, and using Prayer of Healing at the appropriate time. The appropriate time to use Prayer of Healing is any time you have the enhanced Archangel buff, as well as any time during pounding. I ended the fight here with about 40% mana, so I was actually Prayer of Healing even less than I could have. I also could have sacrificed my channeled mana potion in favor of an intellect potion, which would have given me more throughput at the cost of mana, but since I ended with so much mana, doing that would have been a viable strategy. The boss is nearly transitioned here, so we're going to continue chasing around debuffs with Power Word Shield, continue using our evangelism generators, Solace and Penance, and wait for him to go up and do his little transition period here. During this transition, you should try to Power Word Shield anyone with artillery as the highest priority. They're going to be separated from the group, and they're going to be taking burst damage, so if you can send them away with a shield, that's going to be very effective healing from you. Aside from that, you can use the bombs to keep your Solace active and spot heal anyone low with Penance. Everyone takes artillery damage pretty evenly, so you can spread your pre-shields generously to help, but always keep in mind that tanks are going to be the top priority, and they're going to be taking the most damage because they'll be popping the reactive bombs one after another this phase. There's also going to be people with fire stacks for one reason or another, so continue chasing around the dot debuffs with your Power Word Shield, and you should be healing most of the damage over time going out. Transitioning back to phase 1 here, there's always a lot of leftover dots, and repositioning can be tricky, so be aware that you may need to heal extra while everyone gets settled into their new spots. I end up taking the time to channel Mana Pot here after I see everyone is at a comfortable HP, so let's talk about a good time to use a channeled Mana Potion. As a Discipline Priest, the best time to channel Mana Pot is right after your Archangel falls off. You should throw out a Penance to keep the 2-piece buff active and then channel right away. Our aim here is to not waste any of our Archangel uptime drinking, but still be ready to go for the next time Archangel is off cooldown. I actually wasted 4 or 5 seconds of my Archangel here with drinking, but that's pretty close to the ideal drinking window. You'll notice I get back up in time with 4 stacks, and I rush a Smite to get to the 5th stack, and I continue my Archangel uptime, continue healing. At this point, I'm just chasing around the debuffs, keeping everything on cooldown like I mentioned, and really focusing on overhealing the poundings. Some of these poundings I played very conservatively, and I could have been a lot more aggressive with Prayer of Healing. When you guys are on this boss, if the poundings are proving difficult to heal, especially in this later phase where the damage is ramped up. That's something I would definitely recommend trying, is to throw out extra Prayer of Healing during the poundings. The only bad thing about Prayer of Healing on this fight is that players are so spread out that it's pretty hard to hit 5 people with Prayer of Healing. So in order to counter that, I would recommend focusing your pre-shields on the ranged and putting your Prayer of Healing on the melee. Melee are usually all within each other, so a Prayer of Healing will hit all 5 melee. Alternatively, you can Prayer of Healing off yourself, because you always know your position, so do those two things and you should kill the boss. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more Hellfire Citadel videos coming up.